In this video I am talking about this 7Artisans 50mm f1.05 lens. If you are here for the first time, my name is Pav, and here on my channel I talk about photography and video related gear. If this is something that you are interested in, then please consider subscribing. Ultra wide aperture full frame lens from 7Artisans for Sony-E, Nikon Z, Nikon Z, Canon R or L mount. Yes, it's true, 50mm, my favorite focal length, and with the aperture of f1.05. Sounds absolutely great, but this is a lens from a Chinese manufacturer known for budget and fun lenses. How does it perform? Is it worth the hefty price tag? Before I answer those questions, I must say that this lens was supplied to me by 7Artisans. However, I wasn't asked or paid to say anything specific about it, so this is my honest and 100% unbiased opinion about this lens. I have reviewed two APS-C 7Artisans lenses before, and I really liked them. They were cool, full of character, very budget-friendly, novelty lenses capable of delivering good results and being fun to use. But this is something else entirely. It is a lens for full-frame mirrorless cameras with ultra-wide aperture. In fact, it is so wide that this aperture is actually rare in professional lenses, and also it is not a budget-friendly 7Artisans lens. Well, it is if you take that ultra-wide aperture into consideration, as there is literally nothing else that you can buy with f1.05 aperture out there. I'm going to talk about the price and its value later in this video. Before going to performance and what this lens can actually deliver, I must tell you about the packaging it comes in. I was very impressed with the stylish packaging they use, but this comes not only in a really nicely designed box, but also very surprisingly in a really nice false leather case. Really nice touch, making it look and feel really high quality. Okay, let's talk about the performance. I don't know what I was expecting. I guess I had very high expectations, but I am not a huge fan of ultra wide apertures. Well, wider than f1.4 anyway, as even with autofocus, it is hard to nail the sharpness in the right place. This is a fully manual lens, so you can't rely on autofocus to get the focus right. And as it is a lens designed and made in China, I really didn't have massive expectations that it's going to deliver anything worth talking about at f1.05 anyway. But I can't really say that it is a bad lens. It's not bad at all. First impression after trying to nail that focus manually and looking at the JPEG preview of RAW file at the back of the camera, I wasn't convinced. I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy to get focusing at f1.05, but using combination of focus peaking and enlarging the picture in a viewfinder, it is absolutely doable. It just takes a little bit longer. Once I processed the photos in Lightroom, I was actually amazed by the sharpness, the color, and not surprised at all by the huge amount of chromatic aberration. Overall, the quality of images this lens delivers is very good. Good color, good contrast, very little vignetting. The bokeh is very smooth with small amount of swirling, and once you get used to taking every picture slowly and taking time to manually fine-tune that focus, the rewards are very rewarding and satisfying. I always find Chinese lenses on par or worse than cheap vintage lenses, old lenses, but this is certainly high quality glass. The biggest limitation really is that ultra wide aperture, as it's not usable for all kinds of photography. I find that a lot of manual lenses, including good vintage lenses, perform really good at photographing anything close, but really struggle with sharpness and overall contrast when shooting anything wide or further away from you. This really shines at shooting wide, photographing full body portraits and pretty much anything wider. It delivers superb sharpness and contrast in the middle of the frame, as you would expect, with corners being slightly softer, which is not a problem with an ultra wide aperture lens like this, because you're most likely going to be shooting it wide open anyway. Why would you buy a lens like this if you are going to shoot it wide open? There is very little distortion, but as I have mentioned before, quite a bit of chromatic aberration. As expected from this wide aperture lens, all easily fixable in post. Video performance is when this lens really shines, as video needs significantly less resolution than photography, and how your brain translates that shallow depth of field or not perfectly sharp images due to that shallow depth of field all helps to make video shot with this lens to have that cinematic feel to it. Certainly great tool for all kinds of filming styles when you need that extra wide aperture. Very good quality and easily comparable to much more expensive lenses from bigger manufacturers. This lens is built like a tank. All metal construction, and even though it is not a big lens, it weighs whopping 600 grams. It's heavy. It certainly will make any mirrorless camera front heavy. Very smooth and firm big focus ring, declicked aperture ring that I found extremely easy to turn by accident. I guess great for changing aperture while filming. It's easy to turn and very smooth. Also the focus ring has got hard stops on either end. 58mm filter thread and a minimum focusing distance of 57 centimeters and 13 aperture blades helping to achieve that amazing bokeh. There's no weather sealing, no stabilization and no electronic contact with your camera. I'd love to at least see the f-stop information recorded with the photos, but you literally get nothing here at all. And for the price, I'd really like to see a tiny bit more. This is not a cheap lens. $486 or £469 puts it really in close competition with a lot of autofocusing lenses out there. It certainly is more expensive than a lot of f1.8 budget autofocusing, 50mm budget autofocusing lenses from Canon, Nikon and Sony, but about the same price as 50mm f1.4 autofocusing lenses from Samyang and Rokinon. In fact, there are a lot of 50mm options available at the same or very similar price. For Nikon Z users, there is an amazing Nikon 50mm f1.8s lens for only about £100 or $100 more, and that lens is just outstanding in every way. Is this really this good to even compare it? Well, I don't think so. I am not sure that the aperture of f1.05 is that unique selling point to pay premium for fully manual lens. Yes, the optics are good and this lens can deliver really good results, but its price is just too high for what it is. If they were asking $200 to $150 less, then this would be a very great value for money. As it is now, this is a very expensive luxury item that you probably won't use every day. And in my opinion, although I do like it, you should do your research before deciding if this lens is for you. Great picture quality, and it is a bokeh monster, but it is after all fully manual lens without weather sealing, stabilization and any electronic contact with your camera. Lens that is very slow to use as you have to spend your time macro adjusting the focus, especially when shooting wide open. If you shoot astrophotography and 50mm is your focal lens of choice, then this could be an amazing choice. But if you shoot weddings or events or anything moving, then this would make your work feel like a nightmare. It's not meant for that, for sure. Would I buy it? Yes, if the price was a little bit lower. 7Artisans have really nailed it with this lens. It is really good, but it is a specialist tool with that ultra wide aperture and manual focusing, but certainly not a lens for everyone. And this is it from me. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a like. And if you like to see more lens, camera and photo video gear related videos from me, then please subscribe and hit that bell button below to get notifications of my future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. 1, 2, 1, 2. And with the aperture I must tell you about the packaging. The packaging comes in. It's kind of 1 1 1 1 test 1 2.